Justin Herbert, a pretty good player as well. What has he shown that made you very comfortable with spending the number 6 overall pick on him, especially with the question marks that were coming out about how he's not going to be a good leader, he might be scared, he looks like he's in a daze sometimes. What has he shown? And he has become an absolute stud, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a great leader for us. And I think, if you mistake humbleness for a lack of leadership, you've made a big mistake. And he's just a very humble, calm, and poised player. And when you talk to his coaches at Oregon, when you talk to his teammates, all the work our scouts did, we love his makeup, we love his leadership ability. So we've been very pleased with how he's played. He's leading an offense right now. Joe Lombardi, our new offensive coordinator, has been doing a tremendous job, getting everyone together. It's a relatively new scheme from last year. But Justin's playing at a high level right now. We're excited to have him. And we're going to need all of that this week.
How about Mike Williams? I mean, he is so big, so fast, and makes such big catches. I think there was always like a potential upside to him. Like, hey, this guy could be a guy, could be a guy. It feels like he's becoming one. You put him with Keenan Allen and then that backfield you guys have, you have to be pumped about the roster position you're in right now.
Yeah, Mike's done a great job. And since we drafted Mike, every time he's had an opportunity to make a play for us, he has. He's been a 1,000-yard receiver for us before. He led the league in yards per catch one year. So he's always made plays for us. The difference has been this year is some more targets. His route tree's changed a little bit, but he's getting a lot more opportunities this year. So that makes us a little bit more balanced as far as how we distribute the football between Keenan Allen and Mike and Austin Eckler, and then Jared Cook, who we added, and Donald Parham. So we have some players to get the ball to and try and balance that distribution out the best we can.
Feels like last year you guys would have lost that game this past weekend. This year, you win that game. And I might be out of line for saying that. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know if you feel the same way. But what do you think that is? Do you think that's maturity? Do you think that's Staley's vision on that thing? Do you think the team's just taking the next step? From viewing a lot of teams in your history, what do you think it is?
It's hard to pinpoint. Obviously, Brandon's doing a tremendous job. But the one thing I've really seen is the trust between the players and the coaches, and that goes both ways. That's what I've really seen. I mean, everybody's talking about these 4th downs we're going for, and it's been aggressive but not reckless. But a lot of that is just the trust between Brandon and the coaches and the players, and then trusting the offense that we can convert on those, and then trusting the defense. Hey, if we don't convert, because we're not going to convert 80% of 4th downs throughout the course of the year. This isn't going to happen. But it's trust on both sides, trusting the defense to get a stop if we have to. You continue to grow week to week with this team. And like I said, it's a huge trust factor right now between the staff and the players, and that's leading to wins right now. But we got a long way to go.
The closest team, I think, is always going to be the best team. Now, granted, are you together because you're winning, or do you win because you're together? Is always the question. It's hard to be a tight-knit team whenever everybody stinks. You know what I mean? I mean, it is hard to do that. So that's kind of ipso facto situation. But Austin Eckler, whenever he was on the show last week, I think he's, by the way, great find. I mean, he is an absolute beast, a stud. Great conversation. He said that Brandon Staley is transparent with them, with the entire team. This is what we're going to do on offense. The entire team has to hear it. This is what we're going to do on defense. The entire team, special teams, same exact thing. So everybody can kind of hold each other accountable and know why you're doing it. Did you know he was going to be that type of coach? Like, did you know he was the perfect coach? Aside from being a defensive coordinator, he was also quarterback. When you interviewed and did that whole process, what were your expectations and how has he lived up to those?
Well, he certainly lived up to all of them, but there's only so much you can get from an interview. You don't know until you have somebody in the building and see him work every day. But how Austin described that is exactly how it's going on. Like, he meets with the whole team. It's not for a long time, but he goes through the game plan and the why for everybody on all 3 sides of the ball, so everybody knows. And I think when you put a game plan together and you say, hey, look, this is how a team's going to attack us. This is how we'll counter it. And this is how we'll attack them. And then when you see that play out on game day, you talk about that trust factor. And you saw it, and I saw it with Tony Dungy as well. When you start to see that happening in front of your eyes, now it doesn't mean every play is going to be successful, but the plan was right going in. Boy, that trust factor just really, really increases. And that's what we've seen week to week, far as putting our players in the best chance to succeed.
Yeah, I heard stories around the league of head coaches coming in and having rookies go at like 6 a.m. full pads on Wednesdays, and hey, we're going to do this terrible thing, and all anybody said was, you better hope you win, because if you win, people will continue to buy in. They'll buy into anything if you win. Legit, winning will make everybody, like, if you see the process and the outcome is success, it's like, okay, let's do that again. If you don't win, though, it's going to be tough to keep people on the train. It's amazing that immediately upon arriving there, you guys look like a completely different team, confidence-wise, swagger-wise. Even though the team was great roster-wise, it felt like it's just taking it to the next level. Brandon Staley, probably a massive piece of that. Also, Herbert advancing in his career.